Imagine being so good that the best fighters in the world refuse to face you. Imagine training every day, perfecting your craft, and defeating champions only to be denied the title shot you deserved. This is the heartbreaking, awe-inspiring story of a man who boxing history almost forgot. A man they called the Boston Tar Baby.
Sam Langford.
Boxing has given us countless legends: Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Robinson. But behind those famous names lies a shadowy figure, a man whose talent was so undeniable that historians often call him the greatest fighter never to win a world title. Sam Langford's career was a mixture of brilliance and tragedy. Born into poverty, fighting through racism, and even boxing when nearly blind in both eyes, he fought in an era when the color of your skin decided your opportunities, not your skills. This is the untold story of Sam Langford. Sam Langford was born on March 4, 1886, in Weymouth Falls, Nova Scotia, Canada. He grew up in a small, rural black community, at a time when racial discrimination was harsh and opportunities for young black men were almost non-existent. By the age of 12, Sam had already left home. He worked on farms, chopped wood, and did whatever odd jobs he could find. Eventually, he drifted to Boston, Massachusetts, where he found work as a janitor in a boxing gym. It was here, surrounded by the sound of gloves hitting the heavy bag and the smell of sweat and liniment oil, that Langford discovered his passion for boxing. Sam was a natural, short for a heavyweight, just 5 feet 7 inches tall, but with arms like steel cables and a punch that could rattle a man's bones. In 1902, at the age of just 16, Langford made his professional debut. He had no formal trainer in the beginning, but he learned quickly, studying the movements of older fighters and building a style that was uniquely his: explosive power, clever feints, and a relentless pace that overwhelmed opponents. Just 2 years later, in 1904, Langford shocked the boxing world when he defeated Joe Gans, the reigning lightweight champion and one of the best fighters of the era. Because the fight was not for the title, Sam didn't officially become champion, but it was a statement. The kid from Nova Scotia could beat the best. Langford's biggest enemy wasn't in the ring. It was the racial politics of the early 1900s. At the time, boxing had an unwritten rule called the color line. White champions often refused to fight black contenders, fearing that losing would ruin their careers or challenge the racist stereotypes of the time. When Jack Johnson became the first black heavyweight champion in 1908, many thought things would change. But ironically, Johnson himself refused to give Langford a shot at the title, publicly admitting that Langford was too dangerous. Langford himself once joked, "Johnson knows I'm his daddy," but behind the humor was deep frustration. Denied the chance to fight for the heavyweight championship, Langford did the only thing he could: he fought everyone else. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. Middleweights, light heavyweights, heavyweights, men who were 40 pounds heavier than him. Sam took them all on. He fought in Canada, the United States, England, France, Spain, and even Australia. Sometimes he fought twice in the same week, and sometimes without even knowing who his opponent would be until fight night. One sportswriter said, "Langford never had an easy fight because no one easy dared to fight him." What made Sam Langford truly terrifying in the ring was his knockout power. He could end a fight with either hand. His left hook was short and vicious, his right uppercut devastating. And despite his short stature, he knew how to fight taller men, slipping punches, moving inside, and delivering body shots that made even the biggest opponents crumble. Langford scored over 120 knockouts in his career, though exact numbers are uncertain because record-keeping in his era was inconsistent. One of the most famous rivalries in boxing history, yet often overlooked, was Langford versus Harry Wills, a towering heavyweight contender. They fought 17 times. Yes, 17. Wills was taller, younger, and heavier, but Langford gave him wars every time. These bouts became legendary for their sheer brutality and skill. Yet, despite their rivalry, neither man got a chance to fight for the world heavyweight title. By the mid-1910s, years of punishment in the ring began to take a toll on Langford's vision. In 1917, during a fight in London, He was hit so hard that he suffered a detached retina. Doctors advised him to retire, but Langford, ever the fighter, refused. By the early 1920s, he was almost completely blind in one eye and his vision in the other was fading fast. And still he fought on. Incredibly, even with failing eyesight, Langford continued to win fights, relying on his experience, instinct, and ring intelligence to outthink younger, fresher opponents. Langford's last fight took place in 1926. By then, he was 43 years old, nearly blind, and far past his prime. But he had fought for over 2 decades, facing the very best of his time except for the champions who avoided him. He retired without ever holding a recognized world title. Retirement was not kind to Langford. Like many fighters of his era, he earned little from his career and had no financial security in the late 1930s. A sports writer found Langford living in poverty in a small room in Harlem, New York. Word spread, and boxing fans from around the world raised money to help him. Despite his hardships, Langford never complained. He once said, "I've had my day, and that's more than most men can say." Today, Sam Langford is remembered as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in history. Boxing historians consistently rank him among the top 10 fighters of all time, sometimes even above famous champions. That he is a symbol of what could have been, a reminder of the injustice of the color line, and proof that greatness isn't always measured in titles. Langford passed away in 1956 at the age of 72. But his story lives on in the whispers of boxing historians, in the dusty old fight records, and in the hearts of true fight fans who know the name Sam Langford. Titles come and go, but legends live forever. Sam Langford never wore the crown, but he earned something far greater: the respect of every man who ever stepped into the ring with him.